So what?
Okay, so I'm reading a report here that says that Amazon's Alexa could soon mimic voice of dead relatives.
That's wholesome.
You think that's wholesome?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't like that.
See, that's
I don't like it.
That's kind of my thought. And the thing that I love it, Amazon Alexa might soon replicate the voice of family members, even if they're dead.
Well,
That's comforting.
I would just trick it into thinking that like Jerry Seinfeld's my dead family member.
Well, see, and that's the thing. So I don't. They're saying that's like a part of it, right? And obviously, that's what this news outlet is deciding to focus on. But the thing that is kind of cool about it is that they're talking about, and obviously they're saying they're blaming some of this on the pandemic, but they're saying that they should be able to get a high quality voice model off of just like 60 seconds of voice training.
That's like an old Disney movie.
Dude, think
Have you
of
ever
how
seen that?
much training we could get off of our podcast recording.
Oh, I mean,
Just all of our voices merged together to form TRIFLIX voice.
Oh, that would be weird.
oh my gosh, look at that. Yeah, a young child at the event asked Alexa, can grandma finish reading me The Wizard of Oz?
Oh,
Could you imagine, like, you just be like listening and then like your kid, like you hear your mom's voice in your kid's room reading a book, right? And I don't know.
It's just a digitized Ouija board. Grandma, can you read? And it's like
Right.
moving the triangle around.
Yes. I don't know. Like, I like David's idea. Like, if I could train my assistant to talk in a different way, I would just make it sound like different people all the time.
Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson.
I think they did that.
Did they do that?
I'm pretty sure they did that.
Oh man, did I miss that?
Well, it's on an Alexa though.
Oh yeah, I don't have any Alexa devices. Amazon, go yourself.
Yeah.
In other news, someone threw cake at the Mona Lisa.
Oh.
What? Did it touch it? Did it get on it?
Supposedly, there's glass in front of it, which I did not
heard
know
that
this.
she had cream all over her face. It was a white substance.
Yeah.
Was it?
Buttercream.
That's what my my mom told me.
No, it was on the glass. It didn't actually get on the painting.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like they would have to have something in front of it, else somebody would just mess it up big time.
Dude had a wig on. I think it said he was in a wheelchair too. We got a theme here. But he wasn't like actually, you know what I mean? Like it was all an act.
Like some
it was all an act.
YouTuber trying to do something?
I don't know. I guess supposedly he threw it and he was
TikTok.
like, I do it for the earth. And it's like, what?
Earth.
Hey, Mona Lisa contributes to climate change.
Just like Roe v. Wade. Roll that intro.
Thank you.
Oh, that's not it.
He got so scared he hit the wrong button.
Don't talk about that on the podcast. We make videos and not anything
Did you
else.
miss that?
What?
I mean,
What?
I
don't know what you're talking
specifically
about.
said we'll bring it up and then never address it, and then you
We
wanted
will
to
address
dive into it a little more there.
No,
Nope, we don't.
You mean Mona
Nope.
Lisa?
Mona Lisa.
Moaning Lisa?
Yeah, Mona Lisa.
Oh God.
Okay.
This is bad.
Cut the intro music. I have to say something. I have to issue an apology to our listeners, to our fans.
He messed up.
I did. I messed up.
On behalf of the company.
On behalf of the company, on behalf of all of our subsidiaries,
To all the American
future
citizens.
sponsors, our family members.
You made the decision.
I made the decision.
Mainly your family members.
Oh my god. No, I'm apologizing because we totally ruined all our consistency. I haven't been posting clips, episodes, all that jazz. And to make it all better, this is the last episode of season 3.
It's decided.
It's been decided.
8 seconds ago.
This
I
would
guess
be technically, I believe, episode 27. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
There's 52 weeks in a year. We did it.
That's true.
We made it
I
halfway.
wasn't planning on a year.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, for show's consistency's sake. I mean,
Yeah.
This was more than double the episodes we did in season 2. So that means, we'll
Gotta
keep
go for
doubling
double
it.
next time.
See you next year.
No. The plan is and just remember, plans change often, frequently here at TRIFLIX. Plan is to only take a month. We're going to take a month off, and we're going to restructure, rethink, and make this even better. Ooh. And I'm sure if you're like coming into this and you've never listened to us, you're like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what this thing is. I've got an idea because I read the description, but you know, you're talking about your last episode already.
It's over. It's over.
Yeah, it's over. Oh no.
Why?
Just the last episode of season 3.
Why is it over?
Why is it over?
Well, like I said, with the apology of being somewhat inconsistent lately, the company's growing and we've been super busy, and I'm not making excuses. I am just laying it out here and being transparent with all of you awesome people. But
We're
the cool
just
thing is
so successful.
The crushing weight of success.
Yes.
Yes.
I can't deal with the small people anymore.
You're beneath us all.
But no, season 4, it's going to be bigger and badder and better than ever. We've got, we're going to focus up. We're going to, as we've continued to do, we're going to focus more. We're going to be more planned. We're going to be more, better at all these things.
We're going to be taller.
More TRIFLIX.
Taller.
More
Yeah.
Tristan.
We've got
more
lots-
Cole. Yeah. More guests. More me. More video. More cast.
Seriously, though. Seriously. We want to bring you guys a quality product. And not to say that we don't think we have, but we want to get better at the consistency. We want to give you a better show. We want to give you more things to listen to and enjoy. We're talking about doing segments. We want to make you laugh. We want you to learn something.
Well, that's it. You said it. A better show.
Better show.
What is this right now? It's just some bros.
Yeah.
Broing out over some bro things. Like tech, like futurism, whatever it is.
Yeah, dead
But
grandmas.
It could be way more fun.
Yeah, for
Way-
sure.
Way more fun than dead grandmas.
Yeah. We've got big plans, big ideas. But if you've never listened to us before,
Big
I'll give you a little synopsis here.
Synapses.
Synapsis. We are TRIFLIX. TRIFLIX is a creative media studio based in Columbus, Indiana, and we do videography, photography, a little bit of website design, and some branding and some other things.
And every week we release a 1-hour ad read, and that's the podcast.
Pretty much.
Today is brought to you by Audi and their cups.
Look at that.
Audi cup.
You can't buy it unless you own an Audi. So
It's true though. You have to
buy
be
an
part of the
Audi
club.
with discount code TRIFLIX2 and get 110% more on your car.
No.
Do not attempt that.
Oh, we usually talk about futurism, but what are we talking about today, man? What are we doing today?
You know, it's funny you asked that because I was going to ask you the same question.
We are so unprepared.
I was going to ask who you even are.
Yeah, I was going to say, but first of all, I'm Cole. I'm the producer here at TRIFLIX. You can call me the producer of awesomeness. Over here to my right
Felt
is
that is me. And we got Tristan.
Hi, I'm Tristan, and after this episode, I'm going to go get some milk and cigarettes, and I'll see you next season.
Oh, I don't like that.
No, you don't get it. Do you get it?
I don't get it.
He's skipping out on his family.
Family.
He's going to the grocery store to get
like
milk and
Fast
bread.
and Furious.
I'm not
I
coming
get
back
it.
next season.
I'm actually David. I
Family.
do efficiency manager things and office
Sometimes.
manager things sometimes.
Okay.
Oh,
He got us chips.
ooh, speaking of efficiency, I made our file server go faster, so I did it. It was me.
Yeah.
You know what I think we should do? Since this is the last episode of season 3, what do you guys think we did the worst?
I was going to say we should roast each other. This is perfect.
Yeah, like there you go. It's kind of essentially the same thing. Just roast the whole show.
Oh, for the podcast?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So what do you think we did the worst on season 3?
I think we had too many people on it.
I don't agree with that. I think season 4, double the amount of people.
Yeah, 8 people.
Yeah. Remember
At a
my
time.
idea? We just put everybody in a cube inside
In a
of this
cube.
room, and then everybody has a camera and a monitor and a
Yeah.
microphone, and then we all talk.
Yeah.
So it's like doing a Zoom call, but you're all in the same room. Revolutionary.
Except for the listeners.
It's exactly the same, but it's different.
It's
They'll never know.
It's a webinar.
It's a webinar. Do you really think there's too many people?
No, I
dig it.
just wanted to meme off Daniel.
I
I'm
think
going to
we
be
can
honest
do
with you.
more.
I listened, like I told you that I listened to the Corridor Cast the other day, and it was just down to 2 people, and the one dude kept pausing, and I was like, I don't know if I can listen to this.
Yeah. What are you doing?
I love
thinking
chaos.
about. You can't think before you
No
speak.
airspace between people talking.
No,
It's
we all
always
should be
just
talking over the top of each
Yeah, I
other. You
definitely
know,
agree.
everybody says the same thing
You
at the same
aren't
time,
talking,
and we're just like
then you're
having a
not
discussion.
contributing.
Yeah, it has to keep going.
Yeah,
like, nobody
everybody needs to continue to
There's no
talk.
silence whatsoever.
For our
I wonder how many
favorites-
people tuned
Yeah.
out during that period of time.
Actually, this is my favorite segment, awkward silence.
I think it's my favorite.
I hope that you guys could hear the train.
it's just like perfectly tuned.
The minute we stopped, it was
Yeah.
burp.
I think I don't think it comes through. I think
These
pretty
are great
well.
mics.
Yeah, not to brag or anything, but we have like one of the best mics.
I will say, out of all the things we did, I would like to know again what everybody's take is on maybe what we could have done better this season. But one of the things that I think we fully succeeded on was upgrading equipment and being smart about that. I love these mics; they sound great, and they're about half the cost of the 7Bs. So
Whoa,
The cameras look real nice.
they do look nice.
Except for David's.
I was going to say, I think we need to do that.
What?
David's angle. He needs an actual camera, not that thing. What is that thing?
Please, it's a
Panasonic G7.
Lumi crap.
Yes.
I think we need better table for the podcast.
So my vote, and Tristan and I
No
talked
table.
about. Yeah, we've talked about no table.
I changed my
No
mind.
table.
I
No
wanted
tables at all?
I wanted
Couch
a
cast.
trapezoid.
Couch?
And now it's a couch.
Couchcast.
Oh, it needs to be
Do we
more
want to
casual.
spoil that? We want to spoil the couch?
We don't know if that's what we're going to do yet, so we're not spoiling anything. It's but what we've talked about. I mean, the other option is we could do it like
Bleep it.
we could do
What
like
if we sit on yoga balls?
I think you're going to say Yoko Ono for a second.
we could do that.
Let's
I was
sit
also
on-
thinking like sitting like the Chinese style, you know, where you got like we just have like one table in the middle with like pillows, and you
Maybe
have to sit
on the floor.
Yeah, you have to sit on the
I
floor.
don't know if you can say that. That's a little.
I don't
It's a little
know. I don't know.
insensitive in today's climate. You can't just
I
say
don't know. Did
sit,
they do it
sit
first?
Chinese
I don't know.
style.
I'm pretty sure they did that first.
I don't think that's
Oh,
accurate.
and then we could put a 360 cam
no one's
in the
ever
middle.
sat like that before.
Right.
They invented sitting.
Yeah, I think this is a good idea. Put a 360 cam in the middle of a round table, and we all sit around it. And
Yeah.
just one camera
And it
recording everybody.
spins the whole time while
and
we're
you
talking.
can watch it in VR.
Dude, just like get up all in there.
The only problem, the only issue I have with that is like you can't hide anything. I'm not saying that. I mean, I'm just saying like wires, tripods, whatever it might be. Like there's nothing.
You could hide it.
I think we should like let them like the whole room is cast so they can like sit in the chair and hang out with us during the podcast, but they can't really contribute. They just hang out.
I say
They're just it's immersive.
I think we should just take the whole cast and just switch it to a complete full day experience. We put a camera in every room and they can just watch us while we work like we're in an aquarium.
wirelessly
So, like,
stream with
CCTV.
GoPros.
Yeah, like CCTV.
Yeah. And then it just has the what is the live leak in the corner of them all the time?
What was that show where like people lived together and it was like a contest? Big Brother.
Yeah.
We should put this Big Brother podcast.
Yeah, see, and then
You're
like
gonna have to stop complaining about working so late if that's what
we
you're
don't get to
pitching.
eat. We don't get to eat until someone pays. Like they have to donate or pay in the chat to be able. And we're like, oh, we can eat now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They afforded our Uber Eats.
Yeah, and it's like you could pay $10 and I could punch David, or you could pay $20 and I'll punch Tristan. You know
That's
what
like
I mean?
the Germa video you were talking about.
The streamer that goes by Germa, he did like a fake Sims live stream where
Yeah.
like you commanded him what to do and he did it. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I don't
Very
know.
cool.
I think we're totally going off the ledge
So,
here, but
flip the question. What's your dream podcast setup?
Outer space.
You want to be in outer space?
Yeah.
that'd be pretty tight.
Yeah. I want to float.
Maybe it would suck to get there every week.
Nah, that'd be pretty cool too.
Yeah.
The whole
What about those
experience.
Hey guys, wanna go pull
zero-G
9Gs?
airplanes? You just rent one of those
Oh,
out. And you have
45-second
You host
podcast.
a podcast while in the middle of the drop.
Yeah,
Come on, that'd
those
be
are
cool,
only
though.
like
Yeah.
45 seconds long. That'd be the world's fastest podcast.
It'd be
Yeah.
awesome though.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you take a break on the way back up, and then or not on the way back down. No wait.
Yeah.
Up.
Ad break on the way up.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then back down as the
You're
podcast.
like getting slammed up against the back. Hey, welcome to today's sponsor. And then you just like start floating.
Dream, huh? I like the beach cast. I'd love to
the
do
beach
that.
cast.
Honestly, like one of my dreams of the podcast has always been to be able to just do it in a different location every time.
I thought, what if like we somehow had a podcast like on top of a train while it's moving?
That'd be tight.
On a mountain.
I
On a
thought about the
mountain?
car cast
On a
too.
train.
Carcast.
Where it's just every week, like you get in the car and you drive around, and then everybody has microphones that are set up inside the car with cameras, and just
yeah.
you drive around for that time.
Wasn't there a movie review channel that kind of did that, where they just car
Oh,
review?
dude, like get a short bus or something, and then like get the
Short
branding
bus.
all over it, and then
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's just you drive around and people would start to recognize it.
And you know what would be cool about that
RV.
is if they do,
Yeah.
then you could just so Steve-O's using an RV.
Ooh.
But when you drove around, like eventually we could just pick random people up off the street and be like, "You want to be on the podcast?"
10-minute
Like,
podcast. Get in.
Yeah, I feel like the short bus is more fitting than an RV for our
Agreed.
our
Yeah,
position.
that makes
Agreed.
sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
people would they'd be like, "Yeah, okay, that's the TRIFLIX group."
Yeah.
Makes sense.
The implication definitely goes through.
Yeah, yeah. We can't
They
afford
like
the
Star
RV.
Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Speaking of Star Wars, no, we're not going to talk. You don't want to talk? Well, we talked
No, we're not
about,
talking about them.
Doctor Strange when Cole didn't see it.
I watched it.
You watched it?
I saw it. I
but-
found it very underwhelming.
Doctor Strange?
Yes,
Oh, so you've seen Doctor Strange. Okay. You
Yep.
thought it was underwhelming?
I did.
Well, it was underwhelming.
All of it.
All of it. That's.
I don't know. I guess I expected more, and I was kind of let down. I was
Yeah.
hoping to see Tom Cruise as Iron Man.
That would have been really cool.
They already kept talking about it.
I didn't actually hear about that. Was that a speculation?
Yes. Yeah, before it came out. I didn't think it was bad. I just, like I said, I kind of felt underwhelmed. I was a little upset by the ending. Like, it just seemed kind of meh. Like, it wasn't like, whoa, I can't wait to see what happens next. Yeah. Spoiler alert. Just a heads up. Yeah, spoilers.
Now that movies go straight to like TV, I feel like you don't even have to spoiler alert anything.
No,
Like,
I think it's nice though. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
just in case. At least, I mean, it's just like, you know, I don't think I should have to disclaimer everything, but
If it's recent
at
enough.
least I said it.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I just was surprised that they just like killed her off so very unclimactically. It was just kind of like, and I'm dead. And
Wait,
then
killed who off?
Wanda.
She's not dead. She's totally not dead.
Whatever, man.
She's not dead.
Well, I mean, there's like
They showed her.
There's a million others of her out there.
They literally
No.
showed her lying down under the rubble with her hand out, very limp and dead-like.
Oh, that's
Dude,
that's not dead.
she knows the dark arts. She can be undead.
True.
I don't know.
I thought that was hilarious
Yeah.
when Doctor Strange was the dead Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
That was pretty funny.
Like him
He's
giving
like
the motivational speech as a zombie.
I don't know. Like I said, I mean, it was there were some funny parts, and it's another Marvel movie. It's interesting to see the progression of everything, but I'm losing interest, I guess.
I was hoping it would have been like Doctor Strange versus evil Doctor Strange, where it's like they were like kind of head to head, like trying to outwit each other type of thing with all the stuff, and like the magic wizardy stuff would kind of like fall away, but also be like brought up because it's like they're both equally skilled, so it's not as. But yeah.
That was brief. That was such
it
a
was
brief part of the.
very small. I didn't think it was going to be about Wanda.
But see, I'll say I like Wanda and her character more than I do Doctor Strange.
Yeah, well, I mean, the
don't
story.
think so?
Nah, dude. Doctor Strange is way cooler.
I guess.
Well, in the movie, like he didn't. A lot of his progression was like wisdom stuff, and like she kind of had a lot of more of a story arc, character arc than she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think he's cool.
I mean,
I'm
I think
not
he's
saying he's
cool. I
not
just feel like the
cool.
movie didn't like take advantage of his coolness. as
Agreed.
much.
Agreed.
Yeah.
They made her way cool.
He was simping half the movie. There's nothing cool about that. Oh, my. I'm so sad because in this universe, I didn't get happy. None of the universes you end up happy, bud.
I know. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Didn't get the girl.
Yeah. It was a good moral at the end, though, like being content with what you have. That was nice.
Yeah. It's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got other movies I'm looking forward to seeing. So
How was Ambulance? I think you mentioned that at one point.
that was good. I don't know if I'll watch it again. It was it followed the action movie
cliches.
Yeah, like it followed the time or the outline of one very, very closely. And my only issue with it was about 45 minutes to an hour too long.
This was a Michael Bay movie, right?
Yeah.
Did it live up to the Michael Bay explosion standards?
My only thing was like they talked up those FPV drone shots they were using the Komodo on. They talked those up a lot, and then they were just way overused.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like there's always a tasteful amount of shots to use, and it was just like eventually, I don't know. It just felt like they were trying so hard to find places to slot them in. Yeah. That it was just too many. You're like, I get it. The first couple shots were cool, and like some of these other shots were cool, but then stuff started to get really redundant. Like
lost the novelty and the impact.
Quick. And it's like, you know, I can only watch a camera fall down the face of a building, you know, twice or two or three times before I'm like, okay, you're reusing this shot so many times. But the premise of it was pretty good, and I mean, they kept you on your feet, and you were like, oh, you know, it was definitely like a thriller. But eventually you're like, okay, now I'm into this movie like an hour and a half. I've got another 40 minutes left or whatever it was. I mean, it was like a 2-hour movie, but there's nothing else to the story. Like, again, they're being chased. They're in the ambulance. Okay, what's happening?
That's the problem right now, man. All these big companies found out that they can charge people like $10-15 a month for their like streaming platforms, right?
Oh,
yeah.
So the companies at this point, from my perspective, from what little I watch of them, it's just churn out content because people will watch literally anything if it's like in the algorithm in front of them or if it has a specific actor. And I think what's leading to this is you get a lot of I don't know, like the movie is not expanding on anything new. It's just, like you said, it's a lot of cliches, it's a lot of rehashes, and some people like that, and some people want to make something new. And it's just a real bummer that all these big companies are throwing money at generating as much content as they can as opposed to like new ideas. So like I think Amazon did okay because they did The Boys, and that was like, it was superheroes, which is kind of overused, but they took a new take on it. What was the what was the one with Arcane? Who produced that?
Netflix.
Was Netflix the one that did that?
Yeah.
That was really new. That was like a really cool art style that's not frequently used. It was a video game that's familiar, but like I've heard the story for it was like pretty compelling. My wife, who's never played League of Legends, really liked the show. So it's like there's some that are starting to like do new things, but I feel like the cinema, like the actual movies, are still the place for, all right, we know the formula, let's just repeat it, let's just poop it out, and then it'll go to our streaming platform and people will watch it and we'll make at least our money back. It's just sad.
Are you planning to watch Obi-Wan? Is that why you don't want any spoilers?
I want to watch it so badly with my good audio setup, but I have to reconnect since we moved our living room around.
All right. Well, I want to talk about it a little bit without any spoilers.
Deepfakes?
We can talk about that.
What do you want to talk
generally
about?
my opinion. I thought it was just okay. I didn't think it was
haven't finished
bad.
it yet, so
I won't. Yeah, so no spoilers.
I'll murder you.
I thought it was.
I'll fire you.
I'll do both.
Oh no!
Fire you, then murder.
I'm under
I'll murder, then
a lot of pressure right here. I feel like they could have done more. They did a lot of like interesting stuff. There's things with specific smaller characters that I think are kind of annoying. Like there's a couple chase scenes where like they clearly could have like grabbed this small character but they didn't, and it's just like it felt like it was kind of cheaply made, and like they were very lazy about their cinematography and how characters did stuff.
Now I'm getting sad.
But I don't think it was a bad series. I feel like they just could have put more effort into it.
Reminds me of like the old Onion sketch where the news anchors, there's like 4 of them on TV, and then you can see the live ratings per news anchor, and as the person starts talking about something, they realize it's controversial and their ratings drop, so then they start to spin it positively. So like as my facial expressions get sadder and sadder, David's like, but it was like, it wasn't like, it was like a lame, but like there were parts of it that were kind of cool, and like your ratings are going up as I smile more.
Like it has like it has everything I think you would have wanted from the show, but it's just not done where it's like cohesively like kind of builds upon itself in a way that makes me feel happy.
And you're not through it yet.
I'm not through it yet, but
I think the last episode is one of the better ones. So the last episode is actually a plus. There's things that they did in the last episode which I wish they did throughout the entire series, like having motifs and like kind of keeping you like compelled throughout the entire time. What do you think of the show so far, Cole?
I like it so far.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. I got a couple. I mean, if I wanted to nitpick, I could, but I'll be honest with you, I've had more fun watching this one.
It's a fun show. It's not like the sequel, the sequel movies.
Okay.
Those are. It's somehow better than those.
Sequel, as in like the
7, 8, 9.
The most recent ones. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Well, you recently, Cole and his wife went through and watched the lineage, like the actual Star Wars prequel main, and did you go through the sequels as well?
Yeah, there was a time not too long ago we went through it all because they remastered them all on Disney Plus. So,
but the reason I bring it up was his wife was Audrey was very confused about what is the timeline. How do all these movies go together? I don't understand, because how would you release a movie number 4? 5, 6, and then how did you know you would need 3 movies before that? It's like, well, actually the numbers came after. So
yeah,
it's that was why I brought up like what is prequels, what is number 2, because sometimes it gets confusing.
Yeah, and that was the funny thing, right? We talked about this, how she is a self-proclaimed fan, and
she isn't on the board of the Star Wars fans,
right?
She's unofficially.
I mean, she wasn't elected.
I would say the same thing, but about myself. But
yeah.
But no, we were just casually kind of having the conversation about him because obviously we've been watching. I mean, what the last episode just came out on Wednesday this past week, so we've stayed up to date on the shows pretty well. We enjoy watching them, so we got in a conversation about the prequels because obviously you're seeing some kickback during this portion of Obi-Wan's life. So it's been interesting because she was like, well, wait a second, like, how does the timeline wrap up? And obviously...
You're like, I got to show you the Clone Wars animated series for 8 seasons.
Right?
Yeah.
Which, see, that's the thing, is like, I haven't even seen any of that stuff.
It's really good.
I understand that it's good, and I've heard good things about it, and I've also heard, I kind of get how everything fits in, of course.
Yeah.
And obviously, I would be really bad if I didn't know what a prequel was. So, so I get it. Yeah. But we had the conversation. She was like, "Well, no, the prequel movies, those were the first ones." And I was like, "No.
The confusion begins."
Well, and her point of confusion was that she thought the prequels looked worse than the original movies, which I had to laugh about because I was like,
agree.
"You're not wrong." Yeah. I think the practical effects within the first 3 movies, I mean, I just think that's beautiful. I know it's old school and some of it looks that way.
It's older.
Yeah, but it's just freaking cool.
Yeah. It's more fitting, and it's not as it doesn't take you out of the movie as much.
Exactly. It's like the uncanny valley of the whole early 2000s CG on the prequels it's a little rough.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I had my rose-colored glasses. I just never took them off.
That's fine.
I love the prequel. Yeah. I don't like. I know
I'm not talking anything about the story.
No, they get a lot of hate for. I mean, there's parts of the writing that I didn't care for, mainly sand and
it's everywhere.
But no, I actually really like the VFX, and I know like they may not hold up as well as modern VFX, but I think overall, at the time that they came out, they were still some of the best, and I could watch them without like. It doesn't detract the story from me at all. Like, I don't watch it and I'm like, wow, the VFX look really bad. It's not like what was it? Was it The Mummy with Dwayne the Rock Johnson? Where it just doesn't hold up. I think I
love that movie.
I think there's like Pym the Magic Dragon or whatever. There's a Magic Dragon movie that's like really, really bad from I think the 90s. And there's like there are plenty of examples of bad VFX. And I know like our background, or at least I feel like pretty heavy. Everybody here understands VFX and how things that you could see something and understand how it was composited. And I don't know, they always held up for me. And that was like some of the first movies I remember seeing in theaters. So
yeah,
my rose-colored glasses are pretty strong with them.
Yeah, I mean, I always liked those movies. Like, I remember being a kid and then just playing in the background, and just thinking like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Like we had some of the action figures,
Yeah. No.
I wanted that purple lightsaber.
I remember playing the Clone Wars, not Clone Wars, the Battlefront games. And I liked playing the missions from the prequels.
Yeah. You know who my favorite character was from the prequels?
Who that?
Qui-Gon Jinn?
No, it's General Grievous.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I thought that was so tight. I was like, oh, the dude's got 4 arms and 4 lightsabers. I'm like, that dude's tight.
And he stole them.
He's
from
like
murdering.
90% a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, he used to be a bug man from Geonosis with all the other bug peoples.
Ooh.
And now he's a robot man.
We have the lore master.
I know, right?
Yeah,
I'm big into cyborgs.
You should be.
I want to be one.
I want to talk about more cyborgs in a minute, but yeah, my childhood was like that was it. It was Star Wars. Like we played every Tuesday or whatever. I'd go to my dad's house and we would play, Battlefront for 3-4 hours every weekend. We'd play for hours and that Need for Speed. But that was it. It was just like Battlefront. We'd watch Star Wars movies and then I had easily hundreds, probably in the thousands of like all the figurines and stuff. And it was just just a big part of my heart, man. And it made me, that's why like the sequels, it just makes me really sad because I just felt like Disney just threw out a lot of hard work that George Lucas put into it. Not just like the movies, but all the extended arts and things. Like he has a lot of stories that aren't just in the movies. And then also whenever they took it over, they got rid of the Clone Wars, the animated series. That was why Clone Wars stopped. The animated series.
They finished it.
They finished it later on, but they acquired it in the middle of like a season, and they're like, all right, you can finish this season out, and then you're done. And then it wasn't until like a lot later that they released it and then did, I think, Rebels or something. I never watched that one.
I gotcha.
What's the new, I don't know how much you guys have kept up on Corridor lately. Have you seen what's the new animated show that's on Netflix? Did you see animators react recently?
Is it Arcane? Is it like a girl with a glowing gun and she's fighting like a big machine like that's got boxing gloves? And is it the dude that animated the snowman from Frozen? I'm pretty sure I watched this with my wife over the weekend. The
League of Legends thing here?
Yeah, it's Arcane. That was the one I was talking about. I think that's like, it's a really cool.
Was that the one
new animation style?
I was going to say, did you see? That might have been. Yeah. So they were talking about this, and I be honest with you, like I'm not usually into stuff like this, but as soon as I saw them kind of talk about like the animation style, and I got to see some of the clips that they showed, it looked unbelievable.
Yeah. No, it's. I don't know if it's the exact same style, but it reminds me a lot of the art direction that the early Disney, like not early Disney, but the early 2000 Disney. So.
Treasure Planet?
Treasure Planet style, where they really go for that luminescent. Instead of like just 2D flat colors, they really push for the vibrancy, and they try to like draw your eyes in different locations using color. And they get the flow right.
When they were talking about how I guess like a lot of it was hand animated.
Ooh.
And hand drawn and made, so it's like, but it's a good mix between like 3D and then all the textures were hand drawn.
Yeah.
And cool. So they were mixing 2D elements and 3D elements in the same show. And like you said, the world building and the way that it looked with the colors and the animation style and the clarity of everything, like it looked beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not usually into some of that sort of stuff.
I have a lot of negative feelings towards the show, mainly because of its ties to League of Legends. I do not like that game at all, so I've kind of been avoiding watching it.
I've never played it.
Don't, please.
If you have a soul, don't lose it over that game.
Yeah.
I mean, I know League of Legends is like one of those things that I hear about all the time because it's every sponsor on every YouTube channel. They're like, you gotta play League of Legends.
Play, man.
What is the match time for that game? Is it like 30, 40 minutes, or is it like 15?
Depends how toxic your players are.
I've always...
Is that your only grievance with it?
No, it's a super complicated game, and it's not new player friendly, and they have like a million different characters that are slightly different from each other, and it's like just a huge stupid information dump.
And it was like, all based off World of Warcraft, the greatest...
StarCraft, I thought.
No, it was the World of Warcraft 3, like it was like a mod or something off of it, and I'm pretty sure Warcraft came out before StarCraft anyways, but it's just like the RTS, the original RTS game I don't know if it's actually original, but it was like the most popular one.
It's not original. It's probably one of the most popular ones.
Well, it's kind of like Arma, like spun off like a ton of other games. It's one of those ones that like broke the ground. Someone found out you can make money off of it, and then everything blew up off the mods of an original.
Inspired by Defense of the Ancients, a custom map for Warcraft 3.
Warcraft 3. Yeah, so it was a mod, or in that case, a spin-off of like an original map or something like that.
So I've been sort of avoiding it because I just don't like League of Legends, but also at the same time it's like barely connected.
I was gonna say
like, they
that's
don't
not
have
nice.
any lore really for it, and so like this is like barely even connected to the game, but just like I'm kind of spiteful towards it.
Wow, I can feel it. I can just feel it radiating.
I feel like we need to tone him down a little bit and talk about something he likes.
No, we already did that. We talked about Obi-Wan
and how much you were disappointed and sad by it.
I still like it. Like, I don't know if I'd recommend it and say like it's the best show ever, but like I don't regret watching it.
I want to talk about cyborgs. Man.
Sure, let's talk about cyborgs.
Talk about cyborgs and animation. Yeah. David introduced me to a really great show called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and then yet again he introduced me to another great show. Which has a very similar art style, in my opinion, as the previous one, and it is called One Punch Man.
One Punch Man.
It's a superhero that can punch people once and they die, and it sounds super boring. But the battle of it, instead of him like having to all the other superhero movies where you have to overcome super hard, difficult things, his challenge is like finding someone that can survive more than one punch because his life is like boring, and he wants. Like, you expect that show to be boring, and the irony is he is bored. He wants a challenge.
Yeah.
And his best friend in it is a really humorous
He looks like the Airbender.
He's bald.
It depends on the art style. And
yes, I see that there's multiple different.
The art. I like how the artists just change art styles halfway through, and it's not unintentional. Like, they do it to convey humor. A lot of times, like when he's serious, the art style looks serious. Like it's very harsh edges and very detailed. And whenever he's
like super
awkward,
buff and everything.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Yeah,
when he's awkward, he like goes to this like round Rick and Morty-esque harsh line drawn, very simple, plain man.
Yeah, kind of like a doll.
Yeah.
He's not killing people. Well, I mean, sometimes it's people, but it's usually like monsters. Like alien monsters that show up, and they're like, I'm evil alien man, and you've killed a whole bunch of ants, and someone to eradicate all the humans because they eradicated a whole bunch of ants. And like, it's just very comical villain of the week type spoofs. And then he's just like, and they're dead.
So in this universe, it's Earth-ish, and there's humans, and they want to be superheroes, and it's not like Marvel DC where like everyone's just born with superpowers, or they got gamma ray or whatever, and like they got It's like a normal dude rides a bicycle and he wants to be a superhero, and his only power is he's just really good at riding bicycles. And it's like anybody can apply to be a superhero, and you're ranked based on like your public PR and how many bad guys you've stopped. And so like the bike guy might stop a robber, but then like a giant dinosaur invades the whole city or something like that, and it's like he tries to help out. Yeah,
it's like the system in The Boys, but not corrupt.
Not yet.
Yeah,
I gotcha. Okay.
Season 2 is where we're at right now. But it's a really, really cool show.
Is the second season on here? It looks like there's just 12 episodes.
I think we had to switch over to Hulu for season 2. I don't know if there's another platform with it.
Yeah,
I got you.
But
that's what I was curious about.
It's
interesting.
It's a really interesting take on superheroes that's completely different than anything I've seen. The animation style is really cool. The fight sequences are pretty cool. And I think the thing most drawing to me is my wife started watching it, and I was like, yeah, you can watch it. I don't care. I'm not really interested. And I started listening. It's really, really funny. It's one of the funnier animations that I've seen, where it's like, all right, like I hate reading, and I think you said you watched dubbed, which means an English speaker spoke over the whole thing.
English, yes.
But I was like, I actually, for whatever reason, I thought that jokes landed better when you had to read the text. So I ended up listening to I assume Japanese. It was animated, I assume, in Japan.
So it is from a manga, which is like Japanese comic book, basically. And so kind of some of the jokes are written to be read. So
yeah,
I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
They translate really well whenever it's written. And I know sometimes for like whenever in animation, if you have a dub and you have an American or someone speaking English read over the lines to translate it, the joke has to land, but at the same time they're trying to like match up English words that match the mouth movements of the animation.
Yeah.
So a lot of times the joke doesn't hit very well. And I think that's a real disservice to the original writing because it is so funny. There are just so many comical scenes, and I
think it's fine, but I can see where you're coming from.
It does make it hard because I'm a slow reader that like sometimes I can't keep up, but it's still, some of the jokes are just so funny, and I think the thing that stands out to me and what makes the show so unique versus other animations is it's like physical comedy, but animation version where they change the art style to make it like he'll look really simple whenever he is awkward or stupid, but he looks very detailed whenever he's serious, and those like abrupt, almost like meme. It's almost like whoever's writing this is like, or animating it, is doing it to make meme content, and it's very good.
Yeah, and there's a lot of memes made from the stills and things.
Yeah.
So I would recommend it, Cole, if you ever have the free time. You know, the good thing about anime is their episodes are very short,
20 minutes,
because they're like all hand drawn and everything. So it's like 20 minutes an episode.
It's a lot of punching.
And it's actually shorter than 20 minutes because that includes the title card and credits. So it's probably like 15 minutes of watching.
It's give it like just episode 1, and if you don't laugh a couple times, skip it. If you like it, stick with it.
Your
man.
face is turning red.
It's just that anime style. It's just not my jam.
You gotta give it a try.
Looks like Dragon
Don't
Ball
knock
Z.
it till you try it.
I never watched Dragon Ball Z, so I wouldn't know.
It's making fun of Dragon Ball Z too. It's
I
a
wouldn't know, 'cause
parody of. It's kind of a parody of anime and also like a lot of tropes that they do.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like fighting things. So it's pretty funny because it's making fun of itself.
So I was like checking it out while you were talking. I apologize, but is it not in English and you have to read the subtitles?
No, it's in English.
You can do either.
You can
way.
choose. He just found a version that didn't.
Oh, I
offer
gotcha.
it.
I preferred that because it
Your
made the
torrented
jokes
version.
were funnier. No, a lot of streaming platforms have the choice.
Yeah. It should be all in English because it aired on Adult Swim, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a plus. That's a
But
plus.
his best friend is like
We'll see.
A cyborg.
Cyborg who's like he's a cyborg, so the humor for him doesn't translate as well because like a lot of his personality is gone, and
That's part of the humor, I think. That he's a cyborg.
Well, to the audience it's funny, but like you get that straight man act where he says something, and if you were in a social situation with them, it would be super awkward. But because you're observing someone in an awkward situation, that's where the comedy comes through.
I gotcha.
And
makes sense.
In the One Punch Man, he like doesn't usually want to be in these situations, so you get that dichotomy of the awkward guy that doesn't know how to handle the situation, and then the other guy doesn't even want to be there, but he could one punch anything he wants to. So it's just it's kind of like a good cop, bad cop.
Part of it is
comedy.
too the One Punch Man. He's kind of a loser that just happened to be like the most powerful superhero ever.
So strong.
And Cyborg Man, he like looks up to him and thinks he's like a god that he needs to be like his disciple to learn from him, and he has kind of no idea how he got his powers.
Okay.
And so it's kind of like this whole like fake BS thing where he's just trying to lead this guy along and like train him, and he's like, I don't really know what I'm doing. It's like I just want to go to the store and get groceries.
Yeah, that's most of the show is like it's just a normal dude that's overpowered that just wants to live a normal life, and all these like obstacles get in his way, like enemies and stuff. He's like, dude, they just crushed my grocery store. Like I needed to go shopping. Or I think there's one scene where it like
punch somebody.
It crushes something that he liked, but his overpriced apartment was still there, and he's like, oh man, I still have to pay rent. You know, like, and I think a lot of
he's like getting his laundry, and like all of a sudden, like the building next to him gets destroyed, and he's like, are you kidding me? Like, I have to pay for this.
Yeah.
I have to go back home. It's like, oh, what a bother.
Yeah. It's definitely one of the. I feel like there's like big lulls where I watch TV and I'm like, this doesn't feel like it's worth my time. And this is one of the shows where I'm like, I look forward to the next time I watch it. I feel engaged. I feel like the artist actually wanted me to watch it, you know, for the like, he's like, I made this thing and I'm proud of it and I want people to watch it, and it's not just some soulless corporation churning it out. And that feels good.
Yeah.
I get it.
Tristan, once you're done with that, you should watch Mob Psycho 100. And it's by the same person.
Okay.
So it's a lot of the same humor and style and stuff. And I think it's a little bit more refined and better than One Punch Man.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot.
I would recommend that too.
Yeah, whenever I have time.
I know, right? That's the thing.
All
is
your
I'm
free
like,
time.
I just haven't had time to keep up on all this stuff.
It's been out for a while. So
No, I'm just saying, in general, you know, you're like, oh, I can't keep up on the stuff that's coming out currently, you know, and then go back and find something else to watch again. You know what I mean? It's just like, so.
Yeah.
I don't know, and it'd be good for you because it's such short form content. You can watch like an episode in a 15-minute break, and then you can stop. Because
I don't know, I like the long stuff, man.
I'm kidding. Sorry.
No, short form stuff is usually
picky.
YouTube.
Yeah.
It is interesting. I've realized like a lot of the content that I'm watching is like stuff that's pretty old, like several years, if not a decade old. And I'm like, wow, this is so good. Yeah. How did I not know about this when it was popular?
Survived the test of time.
Survivor
like
bias.
Cool cars and washing machines. Everybody loves the stuff that's so old because it's the only good ones that survived.
Yeah. Survivor bias. Everything from the 90s and 2000s was amazing, apparently.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
All the weak died out. Now now we have all these great shows.
No reason to remember to crap.
I was like Community, Parks and Rec, and The Office were like, there wasn't streaming then, so unless you watched them in serial, like every episode coming out, you couldn't follow it, and it missed the streaming, window. So now that it's on streaming, everybody's like, dude, this show's so great. It's like, where were you when it was on TV and they could have got another season?
Yeah.
So,
back when it was cool to have a DVR and have it set up to record the new series.
Shoot, dude. I mean, we were so into The Office, we watched it when it came on live. Like, we waited for it,
That's nice.
And couldn't wait to see it. And it was so crazy when iTunes was there and we're like, oh, I love the show and I'm going to buy a couple episodes, my favorite ones, so I can watch them on my little iPod.
My little iPod. Yep. That's what I did.
That's exciting.
I did that with Mythbusters. I had like 2 episodes of Mythbusters on my little gold iPod Nano.
Mythbusters was the jam.
Oh, yeah.
So we're talking about the practical versus the VFX of Star Wars. Adam Savage from, Mythbusters worked on ILM's original Star Wars, I believe. Like, I think it was not the first one, but I thought he worked on towards the end of it.
Well, he worked on the first one.
Oh, did he?
The prequel. Number one.
He didn't work on any of the original 3? I thought he worked towards the
I know he worked on the
end
Matrix stuff. We just going to have to look it up.
Yeah, I thought he worked on 6.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
But we're talking about like
he might have worked on 6.
VFX and its role in Arcane and how in the animation they use 3D for certain parts that animation it would have taken too long to do, and then Star Wars prequels versus the originals and whether
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Well, David's the
Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Matrix Reloaded, Terminator 3, The Matrix Revolutions. Ooh. Space Cowboys, Galaxy Quest, Bicentennial Man, Home Alone 3, Flubber. I love that movie.
Flubber. I used to love Flubber. Mm-hmm. Yep.
But those are the visual effects credits.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess he didn't work on the original 3, but
it's not that old.
He recently did the video with Corridor on whether or not VFX or special effects are practical. They're all special effects. Practical versus visual or virtual effects. VFX.
And the moral of the story was
both.
They're both very important.
Everybody can live in harmony.
The advice that I mostly have heard, especially from him, is that try to do everything you can practically as long as it's practical to do it.
And
then you can touch it up and make it pretty with VFX, and then
agreed.
Yeah.
Well, I think even with like if it's not safe, you just throw a dummy instead of a person off of a building, and then sometimes it's far enough away. It doesn't have to be the safe choice. So you can still avoid a VFX.
They still use stunt doubles. There's 2 or 3 of them for like Iron Man, I think, or something.
Probably.
Oh yeah. I think the one thing that you have to use visual effects on though is like if you want to change what a newspaper says.
Ooh, yeah. I think that's pretty easy actually though.
Yeah.
It is.
It's quick to do as well.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
You can do it in like 10 minutes.
You could in Blender if we knew how. You can do it in Mocha and Premiere. You can't do it in Motion because Motion's 2D tracker sucks. It's not a planar tracker is the problem.
Yeah, right.
So
what does that mean?
2D. So there's a lot of trackers. There's like vector trackers. There's planar trackers. There's point trackers.
Okay.
And the one that Final Cut and Motion used for actually Final Cut didn't even have it. The Macs that we edit on come with a piece of software called Motion, and it's supposed to be for VFX, but it is the most watered down, my baby's first VFX program that the world could ever make, and it uses point tracking, and you can do multi-point, and all that means is like if you have a shot and there's something in the shot, you can track a specific point, and that's it. If the point moves up, down, left, and right, you know the data for where it moves. But if you have like a billboard and the shot moves and you want to replace this scene on the billboard, it gets really hard because you need to know in 3D space, is it rotating? Is it moving in and out? Not just X, Y, up, down, left, right. It needs to know if it's moving forward, is it rotating? And that's where you get into planar tracking. And planar tracking is like really good for that. But what planar tracking and point tracking aren't good for is like someone's face or an animal or fabric where it's a mesh or something that distorts. So it's not flat rotating or moving. It's not a single point moving. It's bending and it's warping. And that's where you need like vector tracking to track a bunch of it's like polygons on a face, like a bunch of triangles, and as it moves, the mesh can fold on itself and overlap.
Have you ever seen like the behind the scenes and they put a whole bunch of dots on people's face?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, they're looking for data points.
Yep.
And Apple Motion does not do any of the stuff that a newspaper would be good for, like
but it's
planar
basic,
and
right?
vector.
I mean, it's supposed to be so that you can do
Yeah.
small things, but it's not like a professional grade.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've done tracks before, but I hadn't done planar tracking within Motion, and I just assumed it was there because I've tracked before.
We aren't Ian Hubert in Blender.
Yeah.
Just doing like, you can do this, and you're done. Bye.
You can do it in a lot of software. Blender's free, which is still amazes me how powerful it is.
It's open source, I think.
But we had other software we could have done it with. I just was less familiar with it.
I mean, what stops us from learning some After Effects things?
Time.
The fact that we would have to invest time in a piece of software that's never going to work properly.
I would rather learn Blender.
I would rather learn an industry
90%
standard or
Blender.
something like Blender.
The only reason I say is because we already
useful.
pay monthly for Adobe software. So it's something we pay for that we don't utilize.
Oh, is it bundled in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying we own it. I mean, we don't own it. But we
wish
can
we
use
did.
it. I mean, agreed, but I'm just saying, like, if you have the choice between Motion, which doesn't do what you need to do, and After Effects, which is obviously another step above in the powerfulness of a piece of software.
Sure.
You're like, oh, I need to do this, right? I need to do this one task. It's like, look it up, figure it out, and just get it done.
I agree. I think it would be worth learning some stuff in After Effects, but I think Blender would probably be even better to know just because it's insane, just the amount of stuff it supports.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. But are any of us going to take time to learn Blender at this moment?
I've actually done track shots. I've done.
Does it cost money?
No, it's free.
No, I've done entire 3D tracks before where I took
How is it free?
3D track it's open source.
Oh.
Yeah, it's ran by an actual company that's
impressive.
profitable.
That's
pretty
impressive.
Cool. It's all donations, man.
It's crazy amount. It's
They
I don't know, it's like Linux.
They have a pretty large team.
Yeah, it's
the
blender.org.
The operating system that we put on our server is completely free.
Yeah. But no, I've done track scenes before in Blender where you import your footage and you set up a camera and you track it, and then the software calculates where your physical camera was in the scene and how it moved around, reverse engineers it, and then you can take a 3D element, like let's say I did a floating robot in it, and I put it in the room on the table. So as like the camera's moving around, the robot stays stationary, locked off on the table. It took me like an hour to learn how to do it.
Does our Ronin keep track of like the movement of its camera? Like,
has a lot of data, but I don't know.
Would we be able to import that into Blender if we were able to get it somehow?
I know what a lot of people do is they take like Oculus handles and then just attach it to their camera to get 3D track data, but I don't know.
Oh, you can't tell me that thing isn't, because if it's using sonar to figure out how close the camera is to the ground to measure the z-axis, like you can't tell me that it doesn't do it.
I wonder if there's a way to get that information.
I'll look it up. Well, shoot, if Blender's free, you know.
Now, Blender is what I've used it a couple times to just edit models for video games. I've used it to make some 2D animation as a 2D animation keyframe thing, which is awesome.
Well, I mean, I'm surprised we haven't looked into Blender. I mean, if it can do tracking, I'm surprised we haven't done that.
There's some great tutorials out there.
To do the drone work with the outlining on the.
That would be an interesting thing to look into, actually.
Just out of curiosity, I'm like, we had to download a plugin that like works 50% of the time.
So here's the thing with Blender that I've learned is it's an awesome piece of software that's open source, but what comes with that, and it's the same thing with After Effects in a way, which is not open source, is in order for it to get to a working stage where it's awesome and comparable to like the mainstream industry professional level software, is you have to modify it a lot with like plugins, and you have to buy things. Most of it's free. You can probably get away with doing it all free. You have to change all your macros. You have to change all your key commands, because everybody that does tutorials has different things installed and workflows. So you'll watch a tutorial and it's nothing like stock. It's not like Final Cut or a Premiere where you just pull up a tutorial and you can do 99% of it without changing anything.
There's some pretty good tutorials that assume that you just installed Blender or vanilla. You have a vanilla install, which means you didn't touch it at all. Right. They walk you through it pretty well. But a lot of the more advanced stuff, which I'm sure is what you've been looking at, do not assume that, because they assume that you kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah. But it's not possible, and I would love to have basically just hire somebody that already knows how to use it, that comes in and just trains us, and then they can be the expert for us. Because
I get it. I'm with you there. I mean, I have no desire to learn how to use it.
I don't want to be this is not a pioneer project, man.
No, I get it. I was just curious. I'm like, hey, if there's, and I'm like, maybe again, for the things that we're using currently, like we haven't looked in to see if maybe the workflow could be easier or better on After Effects for the tracking. You don't know that. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
I've used it before.
I think it would be fun.
They're equally jank.
To dip our toes more into Blender and maybe use it for the next film challenge.
I would really like to.
But I don't want to add on to the already extensive amount of work we would have to do.
Again,
but
that's
it would be
where it
super
comes back
cool.
to the expert.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I would rather, like, if we were going to utilize it all, it would be reach out to somebody that could put together a possible shot that was pre-planned, on that Sunday. Be like, hey, throw this together and we'll add it into our shot list.
That's true.
Or have them work on Saturday, right?
Saturday.
Speaking of that, I'm glad you brought that up, because obviously next month we're not going to be on the podcast. So when we come back after July, we'll be ready to talk about our experience at the 48-hour film project, because we have been signed up since the beginning of the year. The weekend that we shoot is July 15th through the 17th.
Man, it's coming up real close.
Coming up really fast. So we're going to have an even bigger team this year. Got some new faces, an even better plan. So I'm assuming you guys feel the same way about this, but I'm gunning for that number one this year.
We want to go on.
I want to win.
The big boy stuff.
And I think no matter what, even if we don't place first, I hope we place, obviously, but if we don't place first, even then, I think we tailor this film to the best of our ability so that we can send it to other film festivals.
Sure. Yeah.
We think about it as seriously as possible so that we can push it on. I think that would be amazing. Yeah. And I'm very excited to film. Are we going to be able to, can we shoot in 6K? Why not?
We don't have the card. You want to drop another grand?
No.
Wait, we can't? We just can't do 6K?
I don't think you can without the Pro card.
No.
From DJI.
We can't do 4K. I think we can do 4K 60. I'd have to double check. I think we can only do 4K 48. I have to double check that.
Interesting.
No, we can definitely do 4K 48 because I tested that already. I don't think we can do 4K 60.
That's what we shot the concert in, right? I know we shot in 4K. I would assume that you would have shot in a higher frame rate.
Yeah, I'd have to double check.
I thought we did. We could do 6K, but it's just like cropped in.
I'll look at it again,
rate.
but I'm pretty sure it's not. I did 6K. I think I tried 6K 48, and we might be able to do 6K 24, which
cinematic. There you go.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
That'd be so much storage space.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like one day of shooting, right? I'm not saying that it wouldn't be a lot, but at the end of the day,
wedding is one day.
Correct.
You're not shooting continuous coverage.
Yeah, right.
Unless we just keep messing up that one shot over and over.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, is there anything you guys want to bring up before we sign off for the rest of the whole month?
So sad. I'm gonna miss you guys. All 10 of you.
All 10 of you that we love each. So lovely.
No, I don't think so, man. I mean, like I said, watch the social channels, everybody. We've got a lot of cool stuff going on. The team is kind of growing a little bit, more to come on that. And I think we're going to, I don't know. We don't have any plans to play it safe in season 4. We're going to make this big. So we want some people to come on, help us write. We're going to up our production game and we're going to make it awesome. So it's only up from here. Yeah, that's what I will say in general. So we'll have lots to talk about when we come back. We'll have lots to share. Hopefully we can have some people on that helped us out with 48 Hour Film, talk about the experience again like we did last year. And hopefully we can share that film with all you guys and you'll love it. And it's cool and it's fun. Yeah. So thanks to everybody that's listened this far. We will update you guys if we're not going to come back within that month period, but that's the plan. So if anything changes, we'll let you know.
Yeah. Make sure you guys stick around. You never know when we might be back. Have a great day.
Have a good July.
And don't forget to invest in Nahanko.